Have you ever felt that pull, that invisible thread connecting us to certain places? For John, it was this little diner nestled on the edge of town. The rain outside, like a soft drumbeat, mirrored the rhythm of his life, steady, familiar. Inside, the aroma of coffee danced with the scent of bacon, a comforting symphony. We find him there, hands stained with grease from his day at the garage, a gentle exhaustion clinging to him like a well-worn coat. He didn't crave glamour or adventure. He found solace in the simplicity of a quiet corner booth, a place where he could just be. But tonight something. And then there was Natasha. Not that she was ever just Natasha. She was usually a force of nature, polished and powerful in designer labels, navigating the demanding world of boardrooms and galas. But tonight there was another Natasha. Dressed in a simple hoodie and jeans, she sat by the window, a quiet storm raging within. She was escaping from the relentless pressure, the suffocating weight of her public persona, and the loneliness of a life lived under a microscope. She craved anonymity, to just be someone normal for a while. Yet there she was, caught in that small, almost embarrassing moment. Her wallet gone, swallowed by the chaos of the day. A waiter approached with the polite edge of impatience, his words cutting through her inner turmoil. Have you ever felt that flush of shame, a sudden spotlight highlighting your vulnerability? She stammered, apologetic, feeling the eyes of strangers, their gazes like tiny prickles. This small moment felt like a mountain, and she wondered, how did a simple thing become so huge? It was then that John looked up. Not with judgment, but with a kind of quiet understanding. He saw beyond the fluster and the embarrassment. Something in her vulnerability resonated with him. He didn't analyze, he simply acted. His gentle hey, a beacon of kindness in the small sea of unease, broke the tension. And as he stepped in to pay, the act wasn't grand, just good. A small act of grace, a little lifeline thrown in the midst of a very human moment. Imagine that, a stranger, offering help without expecting anything in return. The kind of gesture that makes you question your perception of the world. And what must have gone through her mind? Accustomed to transactions, she found this act baffling, almost surreal. She was used to expectations, to strings attached. But why would someone do this? She spoke, her voice soft. And yet even then, the real Natasha stayed hidden. She couldn't expose the walls she'd built. Not yet. Instead, a napkin, a phone number, and a hasty exit. Did he understand her struggle, the layers of her life? And what did he think of this mysterious woman he'd just helped? As the bell chimed and she vanished into the night, was it just a polite exit, or the beginning of something unforeseen? As the rain gave way to the crisp of autumn, Natasha re-entered the diner. She clutched that napkin like a precious secret. A simple act of kindness had burrowed its way into her thoughts, a foreign feeling. She'd spent a life surrounded by wealth and power, yet a small act of generosity, a quiet nod of understanding, resonated deeper than anything else. What was she searching for? Why was this so different? Meanwhile, John, lost in the pages of a paperback, was actually lost in thought, thinking of the woman he had helped. He wasn't seeking recognition. It was the simple act that had intrigued him. A quiet mystery to ponder. Then the bell chimed, and it was her. The woman from that rainy night. Did her coming back mean something? What was she hoping for? And what was he about to find out? Tentatively, nervously, she approached him. Was she finally ready to let go of the mask she carried? Did she want to build something new, or just right an old wrong? With a nervous smile and a plain envelope resting on the table, the real conversation started. It wasn't a grand gesture, just a simple attempt to make things right. Were their intentions more profound than simply paying back the soup? She began, the words gentle, vulnerable. A quiet thank you, so different from the expected gratitude she usually received. And John's modest shrug, it wasn't dismissive, it was honest and reassuring. He saw past the envelope, past the money. But how do you build something genuine after a misunderstanding? How do you see the person behind the facade? The cash seemed insignificant. What was much bigger was that moment of shared vulnerability, of opening up. What happens when people stop talking at each other and start talking with each other? And as they spoke of his dreams, a simple, honest life of working with his hands, she was captivated. Did she long for this same authenticity? The quiet yearning, she was drawn to something more than just money and success. And her, with carefully chosen words, business consulting, a label that masked her real life. Did she already know how different their worlds were? Did she recognize the unspoken truth, the chasm that separated them? How long could this charade continue? It was more than just sharing stories. It was a glimpse into their souls. They talked of books and dreams, of their separate paths. She marveled at his simplicity, he was drawn to her quiet grace. As their connection deepened, what would happen when the secrets came out? How do you stay connected to a person when the truth threatens to pull you apart? Days melted into nights. Coffee, stories, laughter. A simple pattern woven into the fabric of their lives. What happens when the small moments build into something more? The comfort grew, as did Natasha's guilt, a shadow lurking in the background. How long could she live in this illusion? John's observation, a simple yet profound statement about money, was a punch to her heart. He knew she was living in the world he resented. How do you reconcile an identity that is so contradictory to the one you admire? How do you reconcile these parts of yourself? Lying awake in her penthouse, gazing at the city, she was terrified. How does one reconcile the two versions of themselves? Would he still accept the real Natasha? Or would she always be the millionaire girl, nothing more? And then the empty space at the table. His absence was a void. A nagging feeling something was wrong. A feeling that grew stronger when she saw her picture on the news in a luxury car, and a man she did not recognize. She was living a double life, and he was about to find out. The internet, that endless rabbit hole of information. He typed in her name, his heart pounding. And there was all of it. The truth she'd hidden behind carefully constructed words. What happens when secrets are revealed? What happens when the truth is painful and brings conflict? The hurt, confusion, betrayal. The connection between them was shattered in a single moment. How could he have been so blind? And what would come next? How do you pick up the pieces when they are torn apart in a moment? His cold demeanor, a stark contrast to his earlier kindness. The folded magazine, a public revelation of her life. This was the breaking point. Words meant to protect became the wall that separated them. What does truth really mean? She tried to explain the truth of how she felt, how she never intended to harm him. Her attempts to explain were turned into lies. How do you mend a wound that has been so open? Her confession, a plea for him to see the person she is, not the image she had to portray. A desperate attempt to hold on to the love they had built. Was their connection real enough to survive? His doubt, his heart wounded, and his uncertainty for the future was a punch to the heart. The simple act of generosity was now shrouded in distrust. Would their story end here? A silence stretched between them, a world apart. John back to his routine, the diner now a painful reminder of what he had lost. And Natasha, trapped in her golden cage, the city lights now a symbol of her solitude. The days became weeks and the void between them grew. Would they ever find their way back to each other? And that's when she knew. That wasn't enough. Her penthouse, her wealth, the security her money provided, none of it mattered without him. The real Natasha had been revealed in their connection, and the woman he had come to know was a person he had to hold on to. She went to him, to the one place she knew she could find him. She found him hunched over his work, the image of that day when they first met. She approached him with a letter in her hand. The truth was going to come out, and she was finally ready for him to know everything. Was it too late? His doubt, like a wall, still separated them. She had to get through to him, to show him the vulnerability she kept hidden. She expressed her regret, she expressed her love, and she confessed that the only thing that mattered to her was his opinion. In the letter, she laid out her entire heart. The fears she had, the hopes she had. She opened her heart and revealed her entire soul. How would this affect his view of her? As he read, did he see the woman she was, or the millionaires he thought he despised? In that quiet moment, his world shifted. He realized his own insecurities, not hers, had built a wall between them. The fear of not being enough had consumed him. How do you face yourself and the truths that have hidden? He had to fix things. He had to tell her the truth. Not with grand gestures, but with the vulnerability he had denied for so long. He had to find her in her own world and find her in his own. He found her at the gala, a world away from his own. Could he convince her that everything he felt was true? His words, honest and heartfelt, reached across the room. He didn't care about her money, he cared for her, for who she was on the inside. He was ready to admit he was wrong and risk everything, but would it be enough? Her tears, the kiss, a release of all the tension, the anger, and the doubt. Their hearts collided as did their lips. In that moment, nothing else mattered. They were connected. What will they build next? The grand opening of John's garage. The realization of his dream, built not on handouts, but on hard work and her unyielding support. She hadn't just given him the money to start his business, but the support and love to make it come true. Where do they go from here? John's speech, a testament to his struggles and her faith in him. They were both transformed. This was not just a business, it was a journey of love. Would it work? Would they stay connected? Their kiss, a public declaration of their love. He knew now that she was everything he ever wanted. They had been true to each other and their bond was forever. They were a team now and nothing would separate them again. Their love story was only just beginning. And so, their story reminds us that true love isn't about what we have, but who we are, and that true love means choosing to believe in each other, even when fear pulls us apart. Did this story move you? If you also feel moved by this story, don't forget to hit the like button and share this video with your friends. Have you ever experienced a destined moment? Share your feelings in the comments below.